I'm Andrea Johnson. I am the Grant and Financial Education Coordinator for the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner. My background is mostly news. I have a lot of research, and I joined the OCCC just a little over a year ago, and I really enjoy it. This is the Money Smart for Adults module from the FDIC. And this webinar is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. So first, a little background on the Texas Office of Consumer Commissioner. We license and regulate certain non-depository institutions like pawn shops, payday loan lenders, and registered creditors. I always think of pawn shops because they're everywhere. So anywhere in the state of Texas that you see a pawn shop or a payday loan lender, or you've ever been inside a pawn shop, you've had some indirect contact with us. And we also license and register, car dealerships and things of that nature. Now, we protect and safeguard consumers against abusive and deceptive lending practices, and we educate consumers and creditors about rights and responsibilities. If you have had any issues or you're having any issues with any of the industries that we license or register, call the Consumer Assistance Helpline for the OCCC. The number is on the screen right now, and someone will actually be there to answer your call and help you. And they're also there to if you need any questions, like wading through the fine print on a loan or anything through an application, like you're looking at loan papers or something, they can also help you figure that out as well. So we provide financial education through Financial Education Coordinator, me, informational seminars and webinars like this one, and like I said earlier, we used to do these in person. Financial education materials like the handouts we provided today, and some of those are also on our website, occc.texas.gov. And we provide public service announcements and press releases, and we also partner with other education-oriented organizations. And I just like to take a couple seconds to talk about this part because I'm the grant coordinator. And I am in charge of the Texas Financial Education Endowment. That's what I help manage. And what this is an endowment that gives grant funding every 2 years to organizations across the state of Texas that provide low or no cost financial education programs. So it's really important to me, and it's really important to the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner. So if you know anyone that is already doing this, of an organization, or maybe you are part of an organization in your spare time that could benefit from one of the grant, we are going to start that again late spring, early summer. We'll start doing applications and things of that nature. And so really consider that as an option. Right now, some of our recipients are Girl Scouts in Northeast Texas, building financial capacity in El Paso, and family elder care here in Austin. Like it's a wide range of different places all over the state of Texas. So keep that in mind. So that's a little bit about the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner. Money Smart for Adults. And again, this webinar is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. I want to start today, and usually I don't always start with this, but when it comes to values, you'll see there's a polling question on your screen right now, and it's asking, values don't matter when it comes to making financial decisions. It always comes down to just the math. Is that true or is that false? Do the things in your life influence how you spend your money? I know personally it really does, but so true or false? And this is just a quick, get your thinking on the right path today. Make sure we're all awake. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully everyone's 1 to 4 cups of coffee by now. I've only had 1. So everyone has answered false, which is true. So it is false. Values. When it comes to values, these are the people, things, and places that are important to you and guide the decisions that you make. Values shape how you prioritize your time, your energy, and your money. What are your goals? Goals, it's what you want in the future. These are your hopes and dreams. And goals are your desired results. So you have a plan, you got to build on it, and then you have a result that you want at the end. You need to set goals by prioritizing how you use your money and how to measure and track your progress. And we want to set SMART goals. Maybe you've already heard this before. So SMART goals are going to be specific, measurable, action-oriented, reachable, and time-bound, because you want to put a timeline on the things that you want to achieve and the goals that you want to meet, right? SMART goals. So they need to be specific. What exactly do I want to accomplish? Well, I want to put a deck on the back on my back porch. That's what I want to do. Why is this important to you? Well, it'll be great for sitting outside and hanging out with the kids. And is it something that you really want? Yes. So make sure you're answering those questions when you're thinking about your goals. Measurable. How much is it going to cost financially, physically, emotionally, mentally to achieve these goals? And how many of the goals do you have? How will you know when you've met them? Action-oriented. What specific actions do you need to complete in order to meet your goal? Reachable. Is this goal something that you can actually obtain? Is it reachable? And when will you reach this goal? And that's where we come back to the timeline. So let's say you want to save up for a car payment, a car down payment. This is another example I use in another webinar. So you want to save up, and let's say you want to take, 18 months to save up for a new car down payment. If you set aside $50 to $56 per month, you will achieve that goal in the time in which you want to achieve it. And if you think about it, something like that is just merely at our house, not eating out 1.5 times a week. So it's very doable. So another quick question is, when it comes to your goals and how you spend your money, do outside influences impact your financial decisions? So yes, no, somewhat. I know when it comes to me, we used to really, really enjoy, before children, going out to like breakfast or dinner with our friends, brunch dinner with our friends, and we would spend quite a bit of money just eating out, sitting with them, having a great time. And due to, and we didn't think anything of it, because we were with them, they were spending a lot of money, we're spending lots of money, yay, we're having a great time. And then we had kids, and that changed greatly. It changed in the sense that we started just saying no, no, we can't come with you, no, we can't do this, because we physically knew financially that just wasn't in, blowing $70 to eat out, or it just wasn't it's not in the cards for us with 2 small kids. So it does make a big difference. And it looks like 62% of you say yes, 7% of you say no, and 31% of you say somewhat. And so I kind of might be in the somewhat category, in the sense that, like I said, we have these friends, we love hanging out with them, we loved, just going and spending all this money because we had kids. But then that changed. But it's kind of like you repurpose that money into somewhere else. We've got Christmas, we've got birthdays, we've got anniversaries, we have all these things coming up. And that's kind of what now influences the external influences that are going to impact our financial picture. So influences on choices about money. This includes advertisements, media, celebrities, and peers. And especially advertisements. I think about this a lot, in the sense that, when we were little, and I don't know so much anymore, I don't know what's geared towards children at this point, because mine are so tiny they don't know, but you would watch Saturday morning cartoons, and it would just be bombarded with ads for toys and all these things you just have, right? And that really influenced, that influences what parents are doing, how much money they're spending on Christmas, you know, the latest gadgets and gizmos and the latest toys and dolls out there. And so that could really make a difference. Advertising makes a big difference in how you spend your money. The media, celebrities, once you see a celebrity, some people, once they see a celebrity backing a certain product, that really, you know, can sway the choices they make. You know, and if you have anything outside of this that you want to share, like what influences your choices that you make when it comes to money, go ahead and put those in the question box. And maybe somebody else on the chat today has that same drive when it comes to spending money, influence. So influences can be productive or they can be unproductive. I think of this in the sense that my husband and I still work from home, so he's my immediate coworker, and he's productive when it comes to, hey, we should eat lunch, but he's unproductive when it comes to what he wants to eat for lunch, at least to me, because one of my New Year's resolutions was getting more fit. So productive influences help you achieve your goals, and that's why it's important to share your goals too. Unproductive, they get in your way, okay? There's something there that's blocking you from achieving your goals, moving forward, and being successful. And it's not necessarily an outside influence. It could be something in you that's holding you back from moving forward and achieving your financial goals and your personal goals. Someone said in the chat box, I asked about outside influences, and they said the ability to use pay options like Klarna and Afterpay to obtain things I would not usually pay full price at one time. When I think about that, I think about also, especially over the holidays, it seems like it's so much going on when it comes to credit card offers and store offers. You know, get 20% off today, 10% off today, ooh, $30 off your purchase today if you sign up for our credit card, if you apply for this credit card. Well, that's not very helpful. That's a bad influence. It's saying, hey, you know, you don't necessarily need this item, but here's this discount, so now you can. And so that would definitely be an influence. I definitely understand that an influence like that would not be helpful. So those, you know, pay later kind of influences. So another thing is external influences such as small groups like advertisements, media, celebrities, and peers. And we mentioned that a second ago, but that really plays a big role in how a lot of people spend and share their money. There's social pressure in advertising. It's human nature to want what others have. It wasn't, the phrase keeping up with the Joneses isn't new to anyone. And that's a real thing. You know, you see what your neighbor has, you see how well manicured their yard is, you see how nice their car is, and you think, hey, I want that. But it's a difference between wanting and needing when it comes to your overall financial picture, correct? So just because you see something and you like it and you think it's nice, it doesn't mean you break the bank trying to be something that you're not, because it's not necessarily going to make you happy. Advertisers spend money to influence how you spend your money. Big money. You know, the Super Bowl was just last weekend, and we're talking what I think the average 30-minute Super Bowl commercial is millions of dollars for 30 seconds just for you to go out and buy a bag of Cheetos. And I love Cheetos. Impulse purchases can also make it harder to achieve your financial goals. This was one when I first moved out of my parents' house years ago. Impulse purchasing was a big problem I had. I was young, so of course I had a credit card. You know, credit card companies, you know, don't discriminate based on age. And so I would just couldn't walk past a shoe store without walking in it and swiping and buying a pair of shoes, whether I needed it or not. And so that was definitely a big outside influence on me. But there are strategies for staying focused. You want to recognize tactics used by advertisers. It's that old adage where, of course, clothing companies and advertising are changing a lot lately and showing, different body shapes and, different people from all walks of life. But there used to be a time, and it's still predominantly this way, where the ad showed this, very thin, beautiful, or what an ideal of beautiful is, and to advertise their clothes, because the mindset is you see that and you think, I can look like that. Well, I know I can't look like that. So that's a tactic I am very aware of. Notice when you're tempted. For me, it was shoe stores. If I were out and there was a shoe store, it was like it was a magnet. I couldn't walk away. And so I even had to tell people that would be with me, oh, I have shoe issues. And so if I was shopping with friends, we would avoid shoe stores just for that purpose. You want to control what you can, control your environment. We've made cutbacks when it comes to going out, and this is before the pandemic, mind you. We cut back because we had 2 small children. And so we control what we say, where we go, and how much we spend, and whether or not we're going to be there. For one thing, this online life is more beneficial for me because I have 2 small children. I'm able to go to virtual birthday parties because they don't affect me having to leave the house and pack up 2 kids. Build on a pause. What does this mean? Build on a pause just means take a break. When it comes to staying on track with your financial goals and your money values and your influences and all of those things, remember to take a breath and refocus. Okay? If you have a setback, don't get discouraged. Just stay focused and think about what you really want financially. So staying focused on your goals. Don't talk yourself out of your financial goals, but do talk yourself out of impulse spending. I call it cyclical spending, where you're whipping out a credit card. I say cyclical because maybe you're doing it every month, and so it just keeps going around and around and around. And every month you're not making ends meet, and you whip out a credit card to put something on the credit card. And that's something I talk about during my credit class, is that stop that cyclical credit card spending every month to try to make ends meet. And that can be really hard, but that's where your budget comes in as well. You also want to calculate the hours or days an item is worth. Someone says impulse spending equals drive-through rest way too frequently. Yes, I like that. So calculate the hours or days an item's worth. Think about your hourly wage. Divide the cost of the item by your hourly wage, and quantify purchase in items of very valuable things. Your time. Your time is very important to you. So the cost of the item divided by how much you make equals how the hours you have to work to pay for that item. So if it's require that much time, is it really worth it? Because time is priceless, isn't it? The building blocks of spending and saving. And I've got one more polling question. A spending and savings plan does what? Records the value of your assets, tells you which bills to pay first. Well, lists your income and expenses, does all of the above or none of the above. So go ahead and just click on the poll, making sure you're all awake with me still. Hopefully I'm not putting anyone to sleep today. And it looks like pretty much everyone is on the same track. It does all of the above because a spending and savings plan does record the value of your assets because then you find out your net worth. It tells you which bills to pay first. This is true. It lists your income and expenses. So it does all of these things because it's a whole plan. Building blocks of a spending and savings plan. And this is one of your participant guides today. So you compare your income and your expenses, you understand where your money is going, and you make adjustments. And this is where a budget is going to come into play. And I believe one of the handouts today, I know that this book, this participant guide does have worksheets in it. We're about to cover one of those, but I also have a really basic budgeting worksheet in today's handout if you would like to download that. And if you have problems downloading it, I can send that to you. So this is page 4 of the spending and saving participant guide that I sent you. And this kind of just outlines a spending and savings plan. And we're going to go over that on these next couple of slides. But this is what it looks like. Should be on page 4. I do have that also open as well. And I could show that to you guys if you need me to. So filling out your spending and savings plan. This is something that really stood out to me in the participant guide because I think it's great to have these little things that you can really work through and put stuff in yourself. I'm a note taker myself. So it has 3 sections: net income, your expenses, and a comparison, meaning compare the two. What you're going to do is you fill out your past monthly amount, your planned monthly amount, and then your total net income and total expenses. And if you need to make changes. And I should be able to just, oh, is it going to work for me? Here is what that looks like in the booklet. So see, you've got all of the stuff in here. Now the budgeting worksheet I have available is much more basic than this. It'd be a quick, you know, fill out kind of thing. But this is great because this is really detailed. It gives you all these options to plug things into, and it can do a lot of things for you. And that's why I really like it. So when you compare your total income minus your total expenses, if the difference is 0, your income equals your expenses. And that's kind of how I budget. Positive, you have more income than expenses, and that sounds great. Negative means you have more expenses than income, and that's something you definitely want to work on. You want to make sure you'd rather be in the positive. If it does come out to 0, you're actually not bad as long as you're still, you know, covering all your bills and all the things that you need to finance. So that's good. And you need to have some daily and weekly ideas. So daily ideas, you're going to record your saving, sharing, and spending and collect your change and other ideas. Weekly ideas for spending and saving would be the envelope system for one thing. We'll do that. Weekly money check-in. So kind of, I know another thing people, the booklet that I just mentioned is, I have a question about where to get the booklet. The booklet I just mentioned is in today's handouts, but I can also, let me make sure, through the sign-up process, I can email that to you as well after this is over, just in case you can't download it in the handouts. So do any of you have any ideas for spending and savings when it comes to your spending and saving plans? Like any daily ideas or weekly ideas? I know for me, probably daily would be not stopping by the store and every time I need one, or today I seriously dropped my kids off at daycare, realized we need apple juice to get through the weekend and it's going to be snowing. Walked into the store and my apple juice trip turned into, I think I wound up spending $50 because they had children's clothes on clearance. So that is definitely, she did need jeans, but there were a lot of impulse spending there. Meal planning, that's a great one. Meal planning helps to not, you guys are doing great. What is this? Okay, so meal planning helps to not impulse buy dinner every night. Yes. Daily, ignoring Sonic happy hour when I'm out. Yes, because though it is happy hour, those happy hours add up. Someone said, not stopping at drive-through, not stopping at Starbucks, making sure I plan groceries with a list and be specific on a pickup time. Someone says, I use a shopping list app and I try not to veer from it. I understand that one. Speaking of the groceries, one of the things I talk about is making sure, if you can, do curbside pickup or delivery because you're not walking through the store. That was my problem today. I only needed apple juice. My $3 apple juice turned into $50 worth of stuff. So if I had bought online and had it delivered or picked up, it wouldn't have cost me that much. Unsubscribing to emails so I don't see the sales. I believe that one is another one you can do. Don't go hungry to the grocery store. Yes, that one definitely increases purchases. So those are great weekly and daily spending and savings that you can do to kind of keep yourself on track and not veer off from your budget and from your financial goals that you have, correct? So monthly ideas. When it comes to planning your spending and savings, or spending and savings plan, you want to have monthly ideas as far as, conduct a monthly review. Look at where you're spending and how much you're able to set aside. Have a monthly goal setting session. You want to celebrate your successes. Did you get that credit card paid off? We talk about there's debt snowball and debt avalanche when it comes to debt repayment. I just love the names, they're so cute. And debt snowballs, we're going to focus on whatever has the lowest balance. You pay that off regardless of the interest rate. And debt avalanche is the opposite. You pay whatever has interest rate and everything else gets the minimum. So if you get the car paid off, if you get your student loans paid off, if you get that credit card paid off, make sure you share that with someone. Now, don't celebrate by spending money, but communicate that with your circle. Hey, I paid off that card. I paid off that loan. Everyone pat me on the back, because that kind of makes you feel better. Someone says that their bank's app, their Chase Bank app, breaks down monthly spending into different categories. Oh, that's really nice. I wonder, I'll have to see if other banks are doing something like that. Another thing I want to mention as we're talking about spending and saving, just because I have a note and this is on everyone's minds, you should be checking your credit report. Check your credit report at least once a year. From all three of their credit reporting bureaus. You can go to annualcreditreport.com. But right now through April, I want to share this with you guys, you can get your free credit report weekly through April. That's just something the credit bureaus are doing right now because of the pandemic. They're just trying to help you out. So annualcreditreport.com, or you can even go to the individual credit bureaus, so Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So make sure you're doing that. That should be a part of your spending and savings plan, checking your credit report. Increasing income. Anybody got any ideas for increasing income? Increasing income can help you cover expenses and save and share, right? So you can sell something, maybe once. You can occasionally do a few garage sales, maybe get a part-time job, which would be ongoing. That's an ongoing way for increasing income. and you can develop long-term, so workforce development. What does that mean? You know, oh, someone says they rented out 2 of the rooms in his house. That is definitely an ongoing way to increase income. That's a good one. If anyone's able to do that, I mean, that would definitely be something steady, hopefully. For instance, one of the things you can do to maybe save and increase income, you know, we talked about grocery online, doing curbside and delivery. That'll help you save money and increase your income. Part-time jobs. I also like to mention, is anyone in the house that can work? Are they working, and are they contributing to the monthly, daily financial bills? Someone says, also they do, so I do favor running and DoorDash. Ooh, I like you. I think I have a question about, it says you can print your credit reports once a year for free. Yes, that is true. You can print your credit reports for free once a year, but right now you can get them weekly through April. So one of the things that I thought about, it says sell something. I'm fortunate enough right now, well, I guess I'm fortunate enough right now. Both my kids are growing, and they're growing so quickly. So as they phase out of baby toys, that's one of the things I've been selling is baby toys, baby accessories, things of that nature. You know, working from home, I sell these things that we just kind of stick in the garage and just sits there, and I'm going, we're not going to use this again. So I get that out of the house. You also want to think about decrease your expenses. So think about your needs, your wants, and your obligations. And this is when I talk about, you know, whipping out that credit card to make ends meet. Is it a need? Is it a want? Or is it an obligation? So you want to consider, what can you get cheaper or use less of, right? You want to adjust. What can you renegotiate? Right now, I'm thinking about renegotiating my mortgage. Do without. Can you eliminate something? So there are lots of things that you might have just become accustomed to, right? And you're used to having them in your life, and you're used to the really expensive face moisturizer or lotion, or, you know, whatever these things are. Can you find something that's less expensive? Can you renegotiate? Meaning, one of the things you can do is actually contact your creditors for lower interest rates. Some of them are, yes, they are going to work with you. And so you can always renegotiate terms of your loans and things of that nature. When money is short, you need to prioritize. Wow, this person's had really good success. She says, call places to lower your payments. I've lowered my car insurance, cable internet bill, pet insurance bill just by calling and asking. Congratulations to you, for one thing. And secondly, do you hear that? It's a success. It's a positive. If you just pick up the phone and call, all they're going to say is either yes or no. So look at the things that you're making really high payments on, and see if there's that you see if you can renegotiate the terms and try to get those down. It's just a phone call. You know, just put yourself out there and make a phone call. The worst they can say is no, right? So when money is short, prioritize. Even with careful planning, money can run short. And not only with, and you know, the careful planning part, you think, to me, it would be a disappointment and a setback, and I would feel a little about myself. But, and I'm sure that's the same for several of us. It happens, right? So even if you're planning and budgeting down to the very last penny, things are going to happen. 2020 at our house was a bad year for our pets. They're all aging, and we had to financially dip into our savings to take care of them. But that was important. So see, there's careful planning, but money was getting a little tight because of it. Someone says they agree with just calling and asking to renegotiate. I more than doubled my scholarship to grad school by writing a letter to the financial aid office. Congratulations to you. That's a good one. So what can you do if money runs tight, even though you're trying really hard to stick to that budget? You increase your income, decrease expenses, contact your creditors, reach out for help, and prioritize what to pay first. We know our mortgage is important. We know daycare is important. We know all of these things are important. Oh, hold on, I gotta share this message with everyone. Since the first webinar offered by OCCC, I have been able to remove over $5,000 in old or invalid debts from my credit report. That's a good one. And you know what? She probably started by checking her credit report and following the dispute process. So you want to prioritize what you're going to pay first. And that might sound, well, of course, when it comes to money running short and things getting tight at the end of the month, mortgage, rent, car insurance, car payment, things of that nature. But you would be surprised that some people do let those things go, and I've always, we've become accustomed in our house to spending a little bit more on groceries, but if push came to shove and the electricity needed to be on, trust me, you're not getting the expensive orange juice, okay? You might just have to squeeze yourself. Someone says, and the answer is yes, you can get a free credit report now through April. Now through April of this year, you can get a free credit report once a year. So you want to prioritize based on what might happen, right? So you might need new tires for your car. That might be something in my near future. You want to make choices about which bills to pay in full, pay partially, or pay late, correct? For instance, the cable bill is probably something that I wouldn't be too concerned about when it came to me ranking the order of importance when it comes to my bills. Pay attention to consequences that prevent you from earning income, jeopardize your shelter, where you live, your home, your apartment, your condo, your mobile home, your whatever it is, but make sure that you're paying attention to consequences that affect that, correct? And pay attention to consequences that impact your health or your ability to live independently. One of the things I talk about in the financial fitness webinar is how your financial outlook affects your health. And that could be because you are turning down health care that you need because you cannot afford the out-of-pocket cost. For instance, I know someone who was sitting in her doctor's waiting room recently, and a man came in and he walked up to the counter and she overheard him, and he needed to see the doctor in order to go back to work. He did not have his $50 copay. He couldn't pay it, okay? Someone fortunately, and they were going to turn him away because he had insurance, so he needed to pay his copay, and his copay was $50, but he couldn't go back to work unless he went to the doctor because it was something that happened while he was at work and he needed to get checked out, and so he couldn't return without going back, going to the doctor. And fortunately for him, someone stepped in and took care of that for him because they realized that it was necessary for that to happen and he shouldn't be turned away. So your financial decisions can impact your health in a very small way, just a copay. And could your decisions result in a loss of your assets? Hold on. So, key takeaways for today. You want to understand your values and I can help set achievable goals. One thing else I want to mention about goals, and I love this part, is you want to communicate your goals, share your goals, physically write them down, and put them somewhere where you see them and everyone else sees them. And, you know, maybe if they're a little sensitive or private, you don't want to share them with everyone, but put them where you can see them. You physically are reminded of them every single day. And so that way you'll see your goals and you can keep moving forward. Even with a setback, you can keep moving forward. Set SMART goals. Those help you achieve your hopes and dreams for the future by providing a realistic plan to follow. Think about the external influences that impact financial choices that you make. Use strategies to stay focused on your goals, correct? Use a monthly spending and saving plan to guide how you use your money. So that'll kind of help keep you on track. You know, I gave you the booklets today, and those are very detailed. There's lots of information in them. They're great. And I also have a budget worksheet attached to today's presentation, and I can email that to you if you can't download it. So go ahead. There's a quick afterwards. You can tell me if you want the, you can put it there if you want it, and I'll see it. Or you can email me. When money is short, you should prioritize which bills to pay first. And I know that that sounds like a, well, of course, kind of moment, but you'd be surprised. You would really be surprised that, you know, someone could put aside their mortgage to pay for something else. And so, you know, or their rent or something of that nature. And you want to have a roof over your head, right? Because what's the point of paying your electric bill, your gas bill, or any of those other utilities if they're not where you are, correct? So that pretty much does it for me today. And again, I'm Andrea Johnson. I'm the Grant and Financial Education Coordinator for the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner. Here is one of my emails, financial-education@occc.texas.gov. And you can like us on Facebook at Texas Financial Education Endowment. And you can follow us on Twitter at Financial Ed Texas. Again, I hope today's presentation was helpful. Next week, I'm going to do another one from the FDIC, Borrowing Basics. You can sign up for that on our website, occc.texas.gov. Under the Consumer Education page, there's a calendar. It lists all of the webinars. I do this every Thursday at 10 o'clock. And I really hope everyone enjoyed today's presentation. I know I had fun. I really wish I could see you guys in person, but until that day happens, we'll just have to keep meeting online, okay? Have a good one, everyone.